The plane's engines roared like a beast devouring the sky, but all I could hear was the ragged hitch in his breath as he turned to me, eyes locked on mine in the flickering cabin light. "I can't do this anymore," Kenneth whispered, his voice cracking like thunder over the Rockies we just cleared, his hand trembling as it brushed mine on the armrest, a touch that burned hotter than the turbulence shaking the fuselage. In that suspended heartbeat, with the seatbelt sign dinging its frantic warning, I realized this stranger from 28B wasn't just leaning in. He was unraveling everything I thought I knew about running from my own ghosts. It started innocently enough, or at least that's what I told myself as the United flight from Chicago to San Francisco lifted off that muggy August afternoon in 2025. I was Joshua Harlan, 32, a freelance graphic designer who just bolted from a life that felt like a noose tightening around my neck back in the Windy City. My ex, Mark, had finally crossed the line, another business trip that smelled like cheap cologne and lies, confirmed by a midnight text from his coworker that I wished I could unsee. So I packed a duffel with jeans, hoodies, and enough regret to sink the plane, bought a one-way ticket, and aimed for the Bay Area, where the fog might swallow my mess hole. Little did I know, fate, or some cruel cosmic joke, had assigned me a window seat next to the one person who could make me forget how to breathe. Kenneth slid into the aisle seat just as the doors sealed, all 6'2" of him folding like a question mark into the too narrow space. He was the kind of handsome that hits you sideways, sharp jawline shadowed with a day's stubble, hazel eyes that caught the safety demo's glow like embers, and a faded Stanford hoodie that screamed California native trying too hard to blend in. "Sorry I'm late," he muttered, flashing a grin that dimpled one cheek, disarming, boyish, the type that makes you forgive tardiness on principle. Traffic from the peninsula was a nightmare. "You mind if I snag the armrest? Promise I won't drool in my sleep." I chuckled, shifting my sketch pad to my lap. "All yours. I'm Joshua. Heading west to figure shit out." It was more honesty than I'd given the barista at O'Hare that morning, but something about his easy vibe cracked my shell. Maybe it was the way he didn't pry, just nodded like he'd been there himself. "Kenneth Reyes." "Same, actually." Escaping a family reunion that turned into a therapy session gone wrong. He buckled in, his knee brushing mine in the shuffle, a spark I dismissed as static from the carpet. As the plane taxied, we fell into that rare stranger sync. Small talk about the Cubs' latest collapse. He was a Dodgers fan. Naturally, ribbing me gently, the absurdity of $12 airport sandwiches, and how LAX security lines were modern Dante's Inferno. By the time we hit cruising altitude, the clouds below us like rumpled bedsheets. He'd cracked open a bag of trail mix and offered me half, our fingers grazing in the pass. "You draw?" he asked, nodding at my pad where I'd idly sketched the wing's curve against the blue. "Guilty." It's how I processed the chaos. I flipped it shut, but not before he glimpsed a half-formed face. Mark's, twisted in accusation. "Looks therapeutic." Me? I run. Literally. Trails in the Marin headlands when life's too loud. His voice dipped, eyes flicking to the window. "What chaos are you processing, Joshua?" The question hung there, heavier than the recycled air. I could have deflected, standard Midwestern politeness, but the hum of the engines felt like permission. "Breakup. The kind where you wake up realizing you've been auditioning for a role you never wanted." He was everything I thought I needed. Steady job, nice apartment, the whole picket fence facade. But it was all smoke. "I'm done pretending." Kenneth's gaze softened, not with pity, but recognition. "Fuck the facade. I get it. Grew up in a house where straight A son meant no room for questions. Dad's a tech exec, Silicon Valley royalty. Mom's the perfect hostess. And me? The golden boy who interned at his firm straight out of college. But golden boys have cracks, right? He paused, popping a cashew like it was a punctuation mark. Took me years to admit I wasn't built for their script. My heart stuttered. There was the unspoken thread weaving us together. In a cabin full of dozing salarymen and harried parents, we'd stumbled into a confessional. Ow, I ventured, voice low. Mostly. To friends. Yeah. Family? It's complicated. Dad knows. In that don't ask, don't tell way. Mom prays for miracles. He laughed, bittersweet, and leaned back, his shoulder inches from mine. Your ex sound like he was scripting your life, too? Worse. He scripted mine and his own, then erased me from the credits. The words tasted like bile, but saying them aloud lightened the load. Kenneth listened without interrupting, his nods like anchors. By the time the beverage cart rattled by, we'd traded stories like contraband. My first awkward crush on the high school quarterback, his clandestine hookups in dorm laundry rooms. Laughter bubbled up, easing the knot in my chest I'd carried since O'Hare. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the cabin in honeyed streaks, Kenneth stretched, his arm draping casually over the shared rest, testing waters. Or just fatigue. Ever think about starting over? Like, really over? Ditch the map. Follow the gut. All the time, I admitted. San Francisco's my blank page. No expectations. Just possibility. He turned then, fully, his face close enough I could count the freckles across his nose. Me too. Or at least, that's the plan. Stick around after we land? Coffee? Or walk by the bay? No pressure. The offer landed soft, but it stirred something dormant, a flutter I hadn't felt since before Mark turned love into a ledger. Yeah, I'd like that. Descent was smoother than takeoff. The bay's patchwork of lights winking hello as we touched down at SFO. Customs was a blur of tired queues and beeping scanners. But Kenneth stuck close, our duffels slung like shields. Outside, the fog rolled in thick as regret, but the air tasted of salt and second chances. We grabbed Ubers to the same hostel in the Mission District, coincidence, or kismet, and by midnight, we were at a dive bar on Valencia, nursing IPAs under neon signs, buzzing like fireflies. That's when the dam broke. 2 beers in, Kenneth's easy grin faltered. Truth? I'm not just escaping family. Dad's forcing my hand. Join the company full-time or get cut off. VP track. Corner office. The dream. But it's a cage. Joshua. And there's this guy. X. Sort of. We worked together. It ended messy because I couldn't commit, not with the lies piling up. I leaned in, mirroring his earlier tilt. What kind of messy? He stared into his glass, foam tracing lazy circles. The kind where I ghosted him after Dad walked in on us at the holiday party. Blamed the eggnog, played it off as brothers being bros. He deserved better. Hell, I deserved better than this half-life. The rawness hit me like a gust off the Pacific. I'd been there, hiding in plain sight, trading authenticity for approval. Then don't. Walk away. Build your own dream. His eyes met mine, fierce and searching. What if the dream's scarier alone? It's not, I said, reaching across the scarred table, my hand covering his. Warm. Steady. Not if you let someone in. The bar faded, the clink of glasses, the murmur of drag queens at the corner booth. It was just us, fingers laced, pulses sinking. When he pulled me into a hug goodbye outside, his chin resting on my shoulder, I inhaled him, cedar cologne, faint sweat from the flight. Promise. Tomorrow, he murmured against my ear. Tomorrow. The next week blurred into a montage of San Francisco magic. the kind that tricks you into believing reinvention is effortless. We met at sunrise jogs along Ocean Beach, pounding sand as the waves crashed like applause. Afternoons melted into sketching sessions in Golden Gate Park, me capturing his profile against the bison paddock while he read Kerouac aloud, his voice weaving through the eucalyptus breeze. Evenings were hole-in-the-wall Ticarius in Castro, where rainbow flags fluttered like confetti, and we'd people watch, inventing backstories for the leather-clad daddies and wide-eyed tourists. Kenneth was a revelation, funny in that self-deprecating tech bro way, thoughtful in moments that caught me off guard. One night, over vegan burritos, he confessed his side hustle, coding indie apps for queer nonprofits. Anonymous drops in the App Store that connected isolated kids to safe spaces. "It's my rebellion," he said, cheeks flushing. "Dad thinks I'm wasting talent on hobby projects. But it feels real. You're more than a shadow," I told him, squeezing his thigh under the table, a casual intimacy that sent heat coiling low. Not lust. Not yet. Something deeper, like roots seeking soil. And me? I spilled it all. The freelance gigs drying up post-breakup. The panic attacks that had me ghosting clients. The fear that I'd peaked at 25 with a viral poster for Chicago Pride. Kenneth didn't fix. He listened, then dragged me to a co-working space in Soma, where rainbow keyboard stickers peeled at the edges. "Start here," he said, booting up a laptop. One pixel at a time. By week's end, I'd mocked up a logo for his latest app, a stylized bridge arching over a heartbeat line. He kissed my cheek in thanks, lingering just long enough to blur the line between friends and more. "You're dangerous, Joshua Harlan," he teased, but his eyes held heat. I wanted to believe we were building something unbreakable. But cracks spiderwebbed in, subtle at first. A dodge call from work during our Haight-Ashbury thrift crawl, his phone buzzing incessantly until he silenced it with a grimace. "Dad," he'd mutter, then pivot to distracting me with a vintage Bowie tee that fit like it was made for my frame. Then came the first real fracture, dinner at a cozy Italian spot in North Beach, foghorns moaning in the distance like lovesick whales. Midway through tiramisu, his ex materialized, Evan, all-polished suits and wounded stares, sliding into our booth uninvited like a bad sequel. "Kenneth," Evan said, voice velvet over gravel. "We need to talk." Kenneth's fork clattered. "Evan, this is not the time." I froze, the air thickening with history I hadn't been briefed on. Evan ignored me, eyes locked on Kenneth like a laser. "You owe me that much. After you left me hanging at the gala, your dad's still asking questions." The words landed like shrapnel. "Gala? Dad?" Pieces clicked, the messy end he'd glossed over. I excused myself to the restroom, splashing water on my face to drown the rising nausea. When I returned, Evan was gone, but the damage lingered in Kenneth's slumped posture. "Who was that?" I asked, voice steadier than I felt. "My past catching up." He reached for my hand, but I pulled back just an inch, enough to echo. "Past like recent," he sighed, rubbing his temples. "It's complicated. Evan's VP at Dad's firm. We dated in secret for a year. Ended when I couldn't handle the double life. He thinks I owe him closure. Jealousy twisted, sharp and irrational. And you? What do you owe him?" "Nothing." His gaze pleaded. "This, you and me, that's what matters." I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But doubt seeded, a weed in our garden. The fight simmered unspoken for days, bubbling up during a hike in Muir Woods, where ancient redwoods loomed like silent judges. We'd packed a picnic, sandwiches from Tartine, a thermos of coffee, but the trail's incline matched my mood's descent. "You're pulling away," Kenneth said finally, pausing at a sun-dappled clearing. Ferns curled at our feet, the air heavy with earth and pine. Me? You're the one with secrets. The accusation slipped out, laced with hurt. Evan shows up, and suddenly we're tiptoeing. What else aren't you telling me? He whirled, face flushing. Secrets? Like how I'm fighting not to drag you into my family's shitshow. Dad's ultimatum, join or get disowned, comes with a side of fix your lifestyle therapy. Evan was part of that world. Joshua. Safe. Contained. You're the risk I want. His words stung, even as they soothed. Then why hide? I'm not some fragile Midwestern import. I can handle your mess, because losing you terrifies me more than losing them. He stepped close, hands framing my face, thumbs brushing my jaw. The forest held its breath. A jay screeched overhead, breaking the spell. We kissed then first time, tentative, tasting of salt and fear. Soft, searching, it deepened into something fierce, his body pressing mine against a trunk rough as regret. Not urgent, but inevitable, like tides pulling us under. We broke apart gasping, foreheads touching. I'm all in, he whispered. No more hiding, but lies have momentum. That night, back in a hostel bunk we'd unofficially shared. His phone lit up again, not Dad, but Evan, a screenshot of an email from Kenneth's company account. Tendered resignation dated 2 days prior. Saw this. You're really doing it? For him. Kenneth snatched it. Baling. How did you? Doesn't matter. We're not done. Ken. Not like this. I pretended sleep, but the seed of mistrust sprouted thorns. The next morning dawned gray, the kind of San Francisco overcast that clings like a bad decision. Kenneth was already up, brewing coffee in the hostel's communal kitchen, his back to me as I shuffled in. Robe askew. He turned, smiled tentative, holding out a mug steamier than our Muirwoods moment. Truce? I forwarded the resignation last night. Official. Dad's gonna blow a gasket, but screw it. Relief washed over me, diluting the doubt. You're sure? Never been sure. He pulled me close, kiss tasting of chicory and resolve. We spent the day wandering the ferry building marketplace, sampling oysters slick as promises, haggling over sourdough loaves that cracked under our thumbs. By evening, we'd rented bikes and pedaled to the Embarcadero, wind whipping our laughter as the Bay Bridge's lights strung like pearls. But Evan's ghost lingered. A week later, during a gallery crawl in Dogpatch, me pitching freelance to indie curators, Kenneth charming the room with app demos, Evan cornered us outside a warehouse space. Spray paint murals bleeding color onto the fog-damp walls. You think this is freedom? Evan sneered, suit rumpled like his composure. Running off with some flyover rube? Your dad's offering you the world. Ken. Legacy. And you're throwing it for what? A fling. I bristled, stepping forward. Back off. You don't know shit about us. Evan's laugh was acid. Oh, I know Kenneth. Plays house until the heat's on, then bolts. Remember Napa? That weekend you promised forever. Then ghosted when Daddy Deers called. Kenneth's face drained of color. Evan, stop. But the damage was done. Napa? A weekend he'd never mentioned. Painted as paradise in Evan's venom. As we biked back in silence, the city's pulse mocking our fracture, I pedaled harder, outpacing him until the hostel loomed like a sanctuary. Inside, I paced the room, duffel half-zipped in threat. Napa. Spill. He sank onto the bed, head and hands. Last summer, we rented a cabin. It was intense. Real. For a minute. But Dad found out about the firm rumors, whispers. I panicked. Ended it cold. Haven't spoken since. Intense how? Like us. Worse. Because it was doomed from jump. His eyes pleaded. You're different. You're light. Joshua. I wanted to scream, to shake the half-truths loose. Instead, I hurl my sketch pad across the room, pages fluttering like wounded birds. I'm tired of being the rebound, the safe bet after your corporate closet fuck-up. He recoiled as if slapped. That's not, isn't it? Tears burned, hot and unbidden. You lean in, make me believe. Then Evan's right there, reminding me I'm the intermission. The argument escalated, voices ricocheting off thin walls, accusations of naivety, defensiveness, the raw underbelly of vulnerability. I love you. Damn it, he shouted finally, the words exploding like fireworks over the bay. That's why it scares me shitless. Love. The L word. Dropped like a grenade. It disarmed me, pulling us into a tangle of limbs and apologies on the threadbare rug. We didn't make love, not like that, but held on, breaths mingling, as if clinging could cauterize the wounds. In the aftermath, we vowed transparency. No more omissions. I share my own buried shames. The abortion mark forced me to fund for his side piece. The guilt that had me questioning if I was ever enough. Kenneth listened, tracing patterns on my back. His silence a balm. For a fragile fortnight, it worked. We sublet a sunny studio in No Valley, exposed brick. Bay windows framing Victorian rooftops, pooling freelance cash for rent. Mornings were tangled sheets and lazy French toast. Nights, stargazing from Bernal Heights Hill, his head on my chest as we dreamed aloud. App for queer artists, he'd muse. Connects talent to patrons. No gatekeepers. I'd sketch interfaces. Our collaboration electric. But the Reyes empire doesn't yield easily. One crisp October dawn, as eucalyptus leaves skittered like confetti, Kenneth's phone erupted. Dad, video call insistent. He answered on speaker, bracing. Son, Victor Reyes boomed. Face a mask of polished fury from his Palo Alto boardroom. Resignation? After everything? Get your ass home. We fixed this. No. Dad. I'm building my own. Building? That coding nonsense? And who's we? That Chicago drifter bleeding you dry. Victor's eyes narrowed at me in the background. Lip curling. Heard about your distractions. Therapy starts Monday. Or the trust fund evaporates. The call ended with a click. Final as a guillotine. Kenneth hurled the phone. It shattered against the wall, shards glinting like broken promises. He's bluffing, I said, pulling him close. But his body trembled, rage yielding to despair. He's not. The money. It's Mom's safety net, too. Cancer treatments last year drained us. Cancer. Another secret unearthed. Why didn't you? Because I wanted normal with you. Not this. Normal shattered that week. Victor's lawyers sent cease and desist for the apps. IP theft from firm resources. False. But costly to fight. Bills piled. Rent overdue. My gig sparse in the post-AI design slump. Desperation crept in. A thief in the night. Then Evan reappeared. Not as foe, but olive branch. Dinner, he texted Kenneth. For old times. Dad's open to negotiation, if you play nice. Kenneth showed me the message. Torn. One meet. Clear the air. Then we're free. Jealousy flared, but I swallowed it. Go. In it clean. He did. One dinner. He swore. But when he returned at 2 a.m., reeking of scotch and regret, lips bruised from what I prayed was a fight, not a farewell kiss, the dam burst anew. Who was there? I demanded. Voice a whip. Just Evan. Dad. Old colleagues. His deflection was a red flag. Liar. I grab his collar. Inhaling Evan's cologne. Faint but unmistakable. You fucked him. No. God. Joshua. He yanked free. eyes wild. It was talk. Pressure. They cornered me, said they'd fund your move east if I reconsidered. Reconsidered. The word eviscerated. Betrayal. Not physical, but soul deep. So, I'm the bargaining chip, the queer pity project to lure you back. You're twisting it. But his tears confirmed the rot. I packed that night, duffel heavier with heartbreak. I came here for a fresh start, not to be your escape hatch. Stay. Please. He blocked the door, desperation etching lines on his face. I choose you. Every time, but choice requires trust, and ours lay in tatters. I shoved past, hailing a lift to the airport in the witching hour fog. SFO's fluorescence buzzed like accusations as I booked the red-eye to Chicago, tail between legs. Hard in shreds. Boarding alone, I slumped into 14A, window seat mocking my solitude. The engines whined takeoff. City lights shrinking to memories. Halfway over Nevada's black expanse. Tears blurring the stars. My phone pinged. Kenneth, a voice note. Joshua, I'm an idiot. Evan's nothing, a ghost I exorcised tonight. Told Dad to fuck off. Wired the last of my savings to fight the lawyers. Meet me at the gate when you land, or wherever you are. I love you. Breathless without you. The plane banked, wings slicing clouds. I hit play again, his voice a lifeline. But doubt whispered, too late, or just in time. Descent into O'Hare was a plummet, literal and figurative. Customs spat me out into the terminal's sterile chill, where weary travelers shuffled like zombies. My phone died mid-Uber hail, karma's joke, and by the time I reached my old apartment, the key stuck like guilt. Mark answered the door in boxers, eyes widening. Josh, what the? Crash space. One night, voice flat, I brushed past, collapsing on the couch that still smelled of us. He hovered. Awkward. Rough trip. Worse. Dawn crept in, gray as the flight's end, and I spilled, Kenneth, the whirlwind, the wreckage. Mark listened. No judgment. Just the ex I remembered before the lies. Sounds like he panicked. Like I did. His hand on my shoulder was platonic. Steadying. Call him. I did. From the corner bodega. Charging on the counter. Voicemail. Ken. It's me. Landed. Messed up. Talk. Hours ticked by. No reply. Panic clawed. Plane crash. Regret. By noon. A text. Chicago. Turning around. Flight lands 6 p.m. United 472. Love you. Relief crashed. Title. I raced back to O'Hare, weaving through rush hour snarl, heart hammering louder than the L overhead. Terminal 1 swarmed, business suits, crying kids, the American dream in flux. Gate C-17 loomed, passengers disgorging like a human flood. Then there he was, Kenneth, duffel slung, eyes scanning desperate. Our gazes locked across the scrum, time stretched, then snapped. He dropped his bag, striding through, pulling me into an embrace that crushed air from lungs. Forgive me, he murmured into my hair. I chose wrong once. Not again. Tears mingled, salt on lips. Me too. Ran when I should have fought. We disentangled, hands linked, navigating the throng. Outside, under sodium lamps, he kissed me slow, claiming, the city a blur. East Coast it is. Your chaos, my mess. Together, but Victor wasn't done. 2 days later, as we hunted a sublet in Wicker Park, cozy walk up with lake views, certified mail arrived, disinheritance papers, notarized, with a P.S. from Mom, heartsick. Call home. Kenneth's hand shook signing the appeal. Mine steadied it. We're enough, I said. Evan's final play came mid-move. boxes stacked like barricades. A call from an unknown bay number. Joshua, it's Evan. For what it's worth. He chose you clean. Told us to shove it. Be good to him. Click. Closure. Bittersweet. Winter settled. Chicago's wind a howl off the lake. But our studio warmed with takeout Thai and late-night codes. Kenneth's app launched. Bridge beat. Viral in queer circles. Funders lining up sans Reyes strings. My designs bloomed. A pride campaign for a local nonprofit going national. Yet scars lingered. Holiday season brought Victor's silence like frostbite. Kenneth's calls to mom went unanswered. One eve, as snow feathered the window, he broke. What if I lost him for nothing? I pulled him close. Our reflection a tangle in the glass. You gained us. New Year's Eve. We climbed to the roof. Illegal. Exhilarating. Fireworks blooming over the skyline. He leaned in. Closer. Unending. Breath mingling with mine. Breathless with you, he whispered. And I was still am. In this city of reinvention, our story unfolds. Flawed. Fierce. Human. Not perfect, but ours. The plane that brought us together? Just the beginning. File 2 end. Word count. 1008. Cumulative. 2020. Spring thawed the ice. But not the undercurrents. Kenneth threw himself into Bridgebeat, the app morphing from niche tool to lifeline. Users messaging thank from rural red states. Stories of first loves found in hidden forums. This is it, he'd say. Coding till dawn. Eyes ringed, but alight. I'd brew coffee. Sketch user flows. Our rhythm a quiet symphony amid the L's rattle. But Victor's shadow loomed. A LinkedIn ping. Job offer from Reyes Tech. Consulting role. Innocuous but laced with bait. Kenneth deleted it. Jaw set. Not biting. Then mom reached out. Email. Tentative. Miss you. Mijo. Therapy's helping your father. Doors open. Attached. A photo from Christmas. Table set for 3. Her smile strained. He read aloud. Voice fracturing. They want the old me back. No. I cupped his face. They want their son. Whole. The reconciliation attempt was a minefield. We flew to Palo Alto, united again. Irony biting, me gripping his hand through takeoff jitters. Victor's McMansion gleamed under magnolias. All glass and pretense. Dinner was civil. Steak. Merlot. Small talk about weather and apps. But undercurrents swirled. Your mother's scans are clear, Victor said. Carving meat precise as a boardroom deal. Grateful for that. Kenneth nodded. Tense. Me too. But nothing. Victor's fort paused. This. Phase. It's hurt her. Church friends whisper. Come home. Son. Real job. Real life. I stiffened. But Kenneth's hand found mine under the table. Anchor. This is real. Dad. Joshua's real. Bridgebeat's real. I'm not your heir apparent anymore. The air crackled. Victor's face modeled. Ungrateful. After the education, the opportunities to lie, Kenneth's voice rose. Chair scraping. To hide who I am, I love him. Deal with it or lose me. Mom's eyes welled. Victor stormed to his study. We left amid hugs and half apologies. The drive to SFO, silent save for radio jazz. You okay? I asked. Fingers laced over the console. Better. He exhaled. Told the truth. Felt like flying without nets. Back in Chicago, the high faded. Bridgebeat hit a snag. Venture capitalists sniffing around, demanding pivots to monetize identity. Kenneth resisted, but stress etched him, skipped meals, pacing nights. My own demon stirred. A client email, Mark's firm, pitching a rebrand. Old-time sake, I deleted. But ghosts whisper. The real storm brewed in June. Heat wave turning the studio to a sauna. Kenneth's phone buzzed during a rare date night. AL's beef. Grease-dripping glory under Wrigleyville awnings. Unknown caller. He answered. Baling. Evan. How? I froze. Sandwich midway. Evan. Again? Business, he mouthed, stepping away. But snippets carried. Lawsuit, IP, settled quietly. Back home. Sweat slick. He confessed. Evan spearheading Dad's revenge. Suing Bridgebeat for stolen code from my intern days. Baseless. But it'll bankrupt us. Fury boiled. Your family? After everything. Worse. Evan's personal, says I owe him for the humiliation. Kenneth's eyes darkened. Napa wasn't just a weekend. He proposed. Ring and all. I said no. Fled. He's twisted it into abandonment. The revelation gutted me. Proposed? Well, I sketched logos. Dreaming futures. He'd carried that bomb. You said it was casual. It was, to me. To him. Obsession. He reached. But I recoiled. Lies by omission. Again, the room spun. Betrayal of vortex. I'm done being the fool who believes you're all in. Joshua. Please. He blocked the door. Desperation raw. Fight with me. Lawyers. Crowdfunding. Fight alone. I grabbed my keys. Storming into the night. The yell clanged overhead. Mocking. As I wandered to the lakefront. Waves lapping like accusations. Hours later, hostile bunk claimed. Sleep evaded. Kenneth's text a barrage. Come home. I love you. Don't run. Dawn found me at a coffee shop. Laptop open to job boards. Philly? Austin? Anywhere but here. But his face haunted, vulnerable, loving. Was I fleeing shadows? Or building walls? Mid-morning. A call. Kenneth. Frantic. Evans bluffing. Code's open source. Timestamps prove it. But he mentioned you. Said he'd dig into your past. Mark's mess. The abortion fund to smear us online. Rage ice my veins. Let him. Truth's my armor. No, it's ammunition for trolls. Pause. Heavy. I handled it. Met him last night. Told him to back off or I'd countersue for harassment. Last night, while I raged, you saw him? Alone. Public place. Coffee. Closure. But the evasion rang false. Doubt festered. I returned. Confrontation brewing. The studio reeked of takeout staleness. Kenneth waited. Eyes red-rimmed. Show me the receipts, I demanded. Coffee chat. Bullshit. He pulled up texts. Time-stamped. Innocuous. Meet at Starbucks. End this. But no photos. No proof. You're unbelievable. I laughed. Hollow. Always 1 foot out. It's not. He grabbed my arm. Grip bruising. Trust me. I wrenched free. Storming to the bedroom. Trust is earned. You've spent it. The door slammed. Echo final. Days blurred. Separate beds. Couch for him. Polite silences. The apartment a battlefield. Bridgebeat teetered. Users loyal. But funds hemorrhaging on legal. Then the bomb. Evan's email. Forwarded by a mutual. Leaked chats from Kenneth's phone. Napa era. Intimate. Pleading. Marry me. Can. Make us official. Kenneth's reply. Can't. Not yet. Not yet. The word seared. Not never. A maybe that damned him. I confronted. Printout shaking. Explain. He deflated. I was scared. Young. It was a stall. Not a promise. Scared like now. Tears scalded. Am I the stall? The safe queer life till daddy forgives. No. God. No. He dropped to knees. Grasping. You're everything. But the fracture widened. I left. Sublet in Logan Square. Sparse but mine. Days dragged. Designs for strangers. Runs along the 606 trail where wildflowers mocked renewal. Kenneth's voicemails piled. Apologies. Please. Silence. A month in. Rock bottom. Solo pride. Floats thumping bass as I nursed a beer. Rain slicking the streets. My phone buzzed, Mom. Victor's wife? No, Kenneth's mom. Elena. Joshua? It's Elena. Please. Talk to him. Victor's relenting. Therapy. Real talks. But Kenneth. He's breaking. Her voice cracked. Maternal. Ache universal. He loves you like I've never seen. Fights for you. Even when it costs. I caved. Dialing. Ken. Josh. Exhale. Shattered. Miss you. Every breath. We met at our spot. Lakefront bench. Goals wheeling. He looked wrecked. Thinner. Stubble silvered. I fucked up. Omitted. Hid patterns from home. But I'm done. Therapy. Full disclosure. Evan? Blocked. Sued. Gone. Dad? Arm's length truce. I search his eyes. Hazel. Honest. Prove it. I will. Daily. Forgiveness isn't fireworks. It's embers. Coaxed. We rebuilt slow. Coffee dates. No overnights. Couples counseling in a Pills and Brownstone. Unpacking closets, literal and figurative. Bridge beat stabilized, crowd-funded surge. Users' stories are fuel. Fall painted the city gold. We reclaimed the studio. Boxes unpacked with care. One night, post-therapy, as leaves swirled outside, he pulled a velvet box, not ring, but keychain, tiny golden gate, engraved, breathless together. Future, he asked. Vulnerable. I kissed him. Deep. Unending. Hours. Victor's thaw came at Thanksgiving. Awkward dinner in Palo Alto. Elena's tamales a bridge. He shook my hand. Gruff. Hurt him. I hurt you. But eyes softened. Pride. Reluctant. Back east. Snow fell soft. Christmas Eve. Rooftop under stars. Chicago's jagged skyline our witness. Kenneth leaned in. Closer. Eternal. Leaving me, us, breathless. In flaws. We found grace. American Dream. Queer edition. Messy. Resilient. Loved. The new year dawned with tentative sun. But winter's bite lingered in our bones. Bridge beats, buzz grew. Podcast profiling Kenneth as the closeted coder come out. Articles in The Advocate lauding our partnership forged in fog. Paparazzi light snapped us at a GLBT panel in Boys Town. Flashes blinding as his hand in mine. Fame's weird, he muttered post-event, peeling off labels in an alley. My back against brick. Are weird, I countered, pulling him in a shadow for a kiss that tasted of champagne and defiance. But success bred scrutiny. Evan's countersuit fizzled, settled out of court. NDA sealing his spite, but whispers rippled. Online trolls dredging Mark's scandal. Twisting it into Joshua's baggage weighs down Reyes 2.0. Kenneth shielded me, deleting comments. But doubt gnawed. Was I anchor or albatross? Spring brought bloom and blight. Elena visited, first time, suitcases stuffed with abuelita recipes. Her hugs enveloping as fog. We cooked pozole in the studio, steam fogging windows. Her stories of young Victor, of love defying his immigrant parents' expectations, mirroring ours. He'll come around, she assured Kenneth, patting his cheek. Stubborn, but soft inside. Victor did, sort of. A Zoom for Bridge Beats 1 year. Impressive metrics. Need scaling advice. Grudging mentorship. But progress. My career crested too. A book deal for designs from the margins. Queer icons illustrated with backstories. Launch party at a Wicker Park bookstore. Crowd electric, friend from Pride. Clients turned comrades. Kenneth toasted. Voice thick. To Joshua. the artist who drew me out. Pride Month peaked in glory, our float. Rainbow pixels cascading, us atop waving like kings. But euphoria cracked mid-parade, a heckler, face twisted in beer-fueled bigotry, shoving through barriers. Faggots ruining America. Spit flew. Security swarmed. Kenneth froze. Color draining. Flashback to dorm room slurs. Dads, toughen up. I pulled him behind the float. Heart hammering. Breathe. We're here. He did. Eventually. But the bruise lingered. That night, bonfire on Montrose Beach. Embers dying to ash. He confessed. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it. The hate. The hiding we still do in straight spaces. Worth every fight. I traced his palm. Lifeline intersecting mine. Because of nights like this. Summer scorched. Lake a siren. We escaped to a cabin in Door County, Wisconsin's thumb. Cherries ripe as temptation. Days, kayaking emerald bays. Nights, porch swings. Stars thick as secrets. One dusk, as fireflies pulsed, he turned serious. Marry me, the question hung. Sunset gilding his face. Not box, but words raw, earned. Joy surged, tempered by memory. Yes, but slow. We've earned the pages. Engagement news spread. Elena hooped over FaceTime. Victor grunted approval about time. Mark texted congrats, civil. Distant closure. Fall wedding planning grounded us. Courthouse simple. Then reception at a Logan Square brewery. Fairy lights, twining hops. Invite selective. Queer family chosen. Blood ties mending. But climax brewed unexpected. Eve before vows. Bachelor party, just us. Rooftop bar overlooking the river. Craft beers foaming. Kenneth's phone lit. Victor. Slurred. Son. Proud. But. Elena collapsed. Hospital. Coolme. Panic clawed. We raced to O'Hare. Red eye to SFO. Vows postponed. Palo Alto, ER hummed sterile. Elena frail in gown. But smiling weak. False alarm. Dehydration. Stress. Victor paced. Unmoored, the Titan cracked. In the waiting room, he cornered us. This. You too. It's real. Voice broke. Forgive an old fool. Kenneth hugged him. First in years, tears silent. Always. Dad. Vows renewed dawn's light. Impromptu in the hospital garden. Elena officiating via Zoom. Victor witnessing gruff. Rings exchange simple bands. Engraved, breathless. Under jacarandas, shedding purple rain. I do, we echoed. Kisses ceiling. Reception skipped. Instead. Family dinner, tamales. Awkward laughs. Bridges built. Victor even danced, stiff two-step, to a mariachi playlist. Elena beaming. Back in Chicago. Life layered. Bridge beat acquired by an ethical tech firm. Us consultants retaining soul. My book hit shelves. Signings in indie shops from Milwaukee to Indy. Winter wrapped us cozy. Holidays split. Reyes Hanukkah Christmas mashup. Then Harlan Clan in the burbs. Mom's lax mingling with Kinche. No drama. Just presence. One snowy eve. As flurries danced. Kenneth leaned in, closer. Eternal. On our fire escape. City muffled white. Worth the turbulence. Every mile. Breathless. Always. Years fold. Adopted kid from the system. A boy with hazel eyes and artist hands. Naming him Leo, lion-hearted. Bridge beat evolves. Global now. Saving stories worldwide. Victor retires. Volunteers at a queer youth center. Redemption arc quiet. We age graceful. Grays threading hair. Lines from laughter. Flights still thrill. Anniversaries to Paris. Tokyo, but home's the anchor. In this American tapestry, flawed. Fierce. We weave on. Secrets unearthed. Misunderstandings mended. Betrayals to bonds. Love, not linear, but a skyward arc, leaning in, never stopping, forever breathless.